What's going on, guys? So in front of me, you are looking at a brand of LED light bar that I am extremely familiar with, but I've never reviewed. I know very little about, but I've heard absolutely phenomenal reviews on from people who actually own this. We're going to take a look at this really cool Putco Luminix high power LED light bar and its application on the truck today. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so what I can tell you about what you're looking at in front of you is that the brand Putco has been around for a long time. This brand has always been synonymous with insanely high-end, super reliable, and incredibly well-built lighting products. Now, Putco may be a relatively new name for you, because you're typically hearing those brands that have been super popular on SEMA-built trucks, super popular in the off-road community. But Putco is incredibly popular in the commercial side of things, as well as the industrial side for lighting applications on vehicles. They have been making LED light bars, they have been making incandescent stuff. They go back a long time, and they are synonymous with insanely overbuilt products. Plus, they are manufactured in the United States, which is really, really nice as well. And they use incredibly high-end components in the manufacturing of their products. But again, this could be a relatively unknown brand to you. Now, eTrailer carries Putco. Putco is probably, I'm going to guess, this is just my guess, something they don't sell a ton of. They might. They may have contracts and accounts with cities and municipalities, and they put these on all sorts of vehicles. But with the inundation of super low-cost LED light bars, with the options out there for you to pick light bars that suit a specific type of look or need for you, Putco might be a brand that's kind of gotten buried a little bit. So whenever it came time for me to evaluate the lighting on the front of my truck and the light bar that's on there, and some of the comments that you all left in regards to how you thought the light bar looks on the bumper on my truck, I decided to go for a different look. A different look in terms of forward lighting from a light bar. And Putco is really one of a few manufacturers who makes a really, really awesome light bar that I think will fit that application really well. Okay, so first of all, to even get to the light bar, you have to open up this really good packaging, which is inside of a box that also has foam and insulation to protect it. But they protect the light bar inside of the box, which is kind of cool. You have a really nice harness right here, which includes a Deutsch connector right here, which is really nice. And it is a genuine Deutsch connector, if you can read the connection right there, not a knockoff. You have your two-way toggle button right here, which is illuminated. And you have two types of brackets for it. You have long brackets if you need this extending off of something a little further, and you have low profile brackets. The low profile brackets, I believe, are the ones we're gonna use. But check out this light bar. So this right here has an incredibly narrow but long beam pattern to it. And that's what we were looking for in terms of really getting a lot of light output way down the road. And there's a lot of folks who think LED light bars on vehicles are ridiculous. And I would agree if you're only getting the LED light bar because you live in the city and you want to put something super, super bright on your vehicle to blind other people. If that's your intention, I don't think you should put a light bar on your vehicle, honestly, or just be very careful when you use it so you're not blinding other people. But when you live on ranch roads, when you're out in the backcountry a lot, there are a lot of really, really, really dark, barren roads that you need as much light on as possible if you want to avoid hitting things that might be crossing the road. So this is a great example of a super high quality product, again, from the folks over at Putco. This is the Luminix, and check this thing out. It's only about 3/4 of an inch deep. It's only about 1.5 inches tall, and the profile of this thing is absolutely insane. It's about 40 inches wide, which hopefully will be the perfect width for the application on the truck. And I think most of you probably know by now what this is going to be replacing and where it's going. So let's go over to the truck so you can kind of get an idea of how this is going to look. So by now, you've probably realized we are going to be removing the Black Oak LED light bar. This thing is also insanely bright. This has a ton of 5-watt LEDs. We're going to be replacing it with the Putco LED light bar because from an overall looks perspective, it's going to give it a far more integrated look, which is kind of what we're looking for. So the first step is to go ahead and get all of this off. The cool thing is both Black Oak and Putco use the same Deutsch connector on the back here, which is going to give us a really, really easy swap out capability. capability. You can see it right there, and it's just going to essentially give us the ability to swap the entire light bar out and not have to worry about having to splice in a different type of connection or even a relay harness. But yeah, we're going to place this in an interesting spot, which I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so I have the old light bar off. You probably recall from that video where I put these brackets I got from Amazon. They clamp around this really thick bar. You definitely want to be sure you get the right size for your bar. Then I put a piece of neoprene rubber inside of here to keep from damaging that crossbar right there. I reversed them, so basically they were mounted the other way, and I simply flipped them because I'm going to use the little screw hole right here to actually secure the light bar to the front as opposed to using this bracket on the back. So it should work just as well, and hopefully it's going to look the way I want it to look. I've decided to mount the light bar under here. I thought about putting it right here on this leading edge, but then I felt from a functionality perspective it would leave it more susceptible to possibly getting damaged if something were to hit the front, or if I were to use the bumper to push something, and I definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put it up here. It'll definitely be set back a little bit behind this flange and kind of protected as well. So that's the plan. We're going to try to get it mounted, and I'll show you what it looks like. So check that out. I think that looks really, really good. And from the front, you pretty much only see the light bar itself. But I think that looks absolutely fantastic. And once we get it all plugged in and turned on, we'll be able to see exactly what the final product looks like. So let's go ahead and tighten everything up, get everything secured in place, and get it wired up. Okay, so a little modification I'm going to have to do is lengthen the wire going to the plug because it's relatively short and it's not going to reach back there. So I have to add wire to this so it can go behind here, come out right behind that plug, and then we'll zip tie it all in place. But I've already pulled off the plug right here, which is another Deutsch connector, and I am going to replace it with a longer span, which is right there on the floor. And we're going to run this so it plugs into that behind the grill. So check it out. We are all done. That looks freaking awesome. Let me turn the exposure up a little bit so you can see a little bit more. What do you guys think? I think it looks absolutely fantastic. The way it centers into that center support bar. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous looking. And from a very reputable brand known for quality. That's like the combination of everything you want whenever you're looking for components. The folks over at eTrailer, like I said, I don't think they sell a ton of them, but to the customers that buy them, they buy a lot of them. And quite frankly, for fleet commercial customers, they always want to go with brands that they know are going to last, probably outlast the truck, that they can move from one truck to another truck to another truck, sometimes putting them on service bodies, things like that. And Putco is certainly one of those brands that you can absolutely trust to be around for a long time because they've been around for a long time. And even with all these different higher end brand off-road light bars you're seeing up here, Putco is still doing very, very well, and they produce some absolutely phenomenal products. Let's get this thing turned on and see how it looks. So check that bad boy out. That is really cool. It looks very, very white in person, even though I think it has kind of a yellow hue right there, but that light bar is insanely bright. And it looks really, really cool running down the center of that cross support on the front of the bumper. What do you guys think? I gotta say, I'm pretty dang satisfied with that. But leave a comment below. If you're interested in something like this on your truck, my channel sponsor eTrailer.com carries it, and this is definitely something that can add some extra high-end appeal and functionality to your truck. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.